Hi, everyone, and welcome to Preventative Health Awareness Month, the last day. I'm feeling kind of sad. This is the Power of Touch Day. And for me, that's so critically important. And I felt that it was really important to end the month off because, as a passionate and proud massage therapist, that's the visionary behind this month and what will soon turn into the movement for the rest of the year. Touch means so much in my world. Touching, the laying on of hands of people and the impact that can have on mental, physical, emotional well-being, chemical well-being, physiological changes in the body. But it's also the touch that we have in community, the touch in outcomes, and ultimately the touch we have in the legacy of healthcare that we're trying to change as a result of this movement. And I got to tell you, I can't think of someone more appropriate. And I'm super excited to introduce my colleague, my friend, an amazing rock star massage therapist who's been in the profession for over 20 years. She is the founder of Exeter Massage Therapy, that's soon to be Exeter Massage and Integrative Care for all kinds of reasons. Stephanie Vandenbussche, welcome, and I am so honored to have you with us today on this last day of PHAM.
Hey, thank you so much, Margaret, for having me. It is such a blessing and an amazing opportunity to have the chance to collaborate with a rock star massage therapist just like you. In my almost 20 years of being a registered massage therapist, I've always known that prevention is key. Practice what you preach, and always have the clients at the center of your care. And that has enabled me to have wonderful treatment outcomes, not only just because of what I'm doing, but the ability for people to understand that I might just be that piece to the puzzle. And having the opportunity to spend time with people gives me that chance to refer them to where I think that they might also have success.
I couldn't agree more. And last week, I had the privilege and honor of being one of 24 massage therapists representing our profession at Queen's Park Day, where we not only got to hear the first reading of a bill where we hope to, when it's finalized, that the 3rd October of every year, it will be Massage Therapy Day, recognizing the role that massage therapists play, the important role they play in the integrative health model in this province. And this is the mindset that I've had, and I know you've had from the onset of our careers, that we truly are an integral part of this integrative health picture. And there were so many meetings with ministers that I had, and many of my colleagues had that day, that really talked about making sure that we do our job as a profession to let not only the public, but our colleagues in allopathic medicine and in complementary medicine truly understand the breadth of the types of conditions and people that we have the privilege of treating. And I know through your 20 years, almost 20 years of practice, I think what I'd love to do is start our conversation off by really explaining to people that from pregnancy through to palliative care, that's what our profession can address front line, by really being having the opportunity to treat so many different conditions at every age and stage of life. I know that's been your experience, Stephanie. That's why you're a PHAM ambassador and have been since year one. Let's talk a little bit about, maybe even to this day, the misconceptions. Certainly people know about massage therapy. We've come a long way. And I know in the 32 years that I've been practicing, but I still think there's work to do in people recognizing that you're not just going to a massage therapist because you have back pain. That's one of the many things that we can treat. But there's so many ways that a massage therapist can be part and should be part of your healthcare team. Can you speak to that from your experience?
So definitely, I would say over my almost 20 years, I have had the incredible opportunity to grow and age and learn with my clients. And, a perfect example is one of my clients that I started seeing years ago. She was, couldn't believe how much I was able to help her foot pain. She had no idea that I could massage her feet. And anyways, after some treatments, we had gotten rid of her foot pain, and she said to me, "Oh my gosh, my daughter has foot pain, just like I do. Could you help her out?" And that was one of the moments when I realized, like, wow, I need to spend the extra time and energy to work on that education part of not assuming that people understand everything that I'm capable of doing for them. So it has been a huge labor of having those conversations and creating communication around what we can help people with, but also understanding that, you know, I've had people that I've referred for counseling because I thought that it would be very helpful. And then I have them coming back to say to me, "Wow, I really appreciate you taking the time to tell me that I needed that, because wow, has it ever helped so much." And my vision of Exeter Massage Therapy over the last few years has actually completely grown and morphed into something pretty awesome. And that is why I'm going to be changing the name to Exeter Massage and Integrative Care. I've added osteopathy and registered acupuncture, and soon to be having counseling available. And the treatment outcomes of having a multidisciplinary style clinic with everyone under one roof, being able to collaborate and have conversations with each other to improve client outcomes has been absolutely amazing. And I'm thankful so much for my time in this community that I've been able to build that trust where people are willing to listen to what I'm suggesting. A lot of times I give them the information and you take that home and you read about it and here's the information and then you make the final decision. So I think the biggest thing I'm proud of is that bringing all this access to actually a rural community. I have a saying that I have on one of my things. It says, big enough to serve you, small enough to know you.
Love it.
Yeah. And so that's really important to me, that every single connection that I have with each person is personal and individual, and clients are the number one at the center of all of it.
Yeah. And, you know, you've touched on a point that you're in rural Ontario, and, you know, there's never been a more challenging time in our healthcare system. Access to care is difficult. Finding a doctor is difficult. And I don't think people really often think that a massage therapist that they can walk into, self-referred, and maybe they need a doctor referral. We're working on that in order to get it covered through their extended health insurance. But you can be the conduit to also collaborate with other healthcare professionals, not just within your clinic, but if it's something where you feel they need to see their doctor or their nurse practitioner, or maybe they need to see a nutritionist. We are really good at understanding our scope of practice, being very well trained and continuing. I know you do too, taking different courses, continuing education credits so that we can continue to morph our skills. There are many modalities and things that we can add to our toolbox. You know, I'm internationally certified with infants. I've also done my professional designation in aging. We're both trained in microcurrent point stimulation therapy, otherwise known as the dolphin. So therapists have all these toolboxes that they can draw on, but we also are trained to understand through our assessment skills when to refer out. And I think that's our biggest strength as a profession. And we don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about, not only can we treat people from pregnancy through to palliative care and a wide range of conditions, but we have the luxury and the rare time, because most of the time people are a half an hour to an hour in our treatment rooms, where we really can actively listen and get to know the whole person, which makes me think right away how important the mind-body connection is, and what other profession really integrates the mind and body in one place. Hence why you just said you've added, as did I when I had Wallace for Wellness, psychotherapy and counseling, because you can't separate the mind from body. And when we lay our hands on people, it's very healing. But our body is a house for our emotions, and can. Sorry, was I cutting out? Was I cutting out there?
Yeah, cutting out a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Our body is a house for our emotions.
Yes, and when we're treated through massage therapy, a lot of these emotions can come up. And although we're trained in therapeutic first aid to deal with that when someone's on our table, we also know when it's appropriate to refer out to a counselor so that someone can dive into talk therapy and the therapy that's out of our scope of practice. So we play a really interesting role and have an opportunity to really do that collaboration both within our profession and out. And that's so exciting because, as you said, it really does make a difference on patient outcomes and access to care, which right now is such a challenge.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to sort of talk about is, the fact that how bright our future is. I talked about being at Queen's Park, and we are the longest, 100 years as a regulated health profession. And we're just getting started. We're getting started to let people know about the diversity. Let's talk just about some of the conditions we treat and how the future is bright. I know we're collaborating on, sort of a musculoskeletal campaign with, falls and fracture prevention in seniors' homes. Let's talk about some of the things that just high level that we treat at different ages and stages that maybe the average person doesn't know. Of course, the things like headaches and back pain and sleep and stress. But let's talk about some of those things that people might go, I didn't know a massage therapist might have an impact on that.
Definitely. Things like sciatica, tennis elbow, carpal tunnel. The list goes on. It's just,
yeah,
I think the biggest thing that over the years, it surprises me every time, and I don't know why, but being able to treat extremities, working through people's arms and their forearms and their hands and their feet. People sometimes don't completely understand the importance of the mobility of what's happening in your foot and your ankle and the way that that affects. Like, I was just talking to someone yesterday. She was having some pulling in the back of her leg. And I said, okay, so what have you been doing differently? Because it's something new. And she had been doing a lot of quilting. So then we started talking about the positioning of the quilting. And even though both feet are on the floor, she's leaning more to one side than the other and all those types of things. And she had a chiropractor appointment coming up. So I felt very confidently that once I worked everything out, she had her adjustment, that everything should be pretty good. And right. So I think some people, they can just get, I don't know how, it's just, sometimes people just accept what they are living with and don't understand. Like, I did scar release on someone who had bunion surgery, and we got an incredible amount of mobility back in her foot, significantly less pain and swelling, and she was just over the moon. She didn't know, like, oh my gosh, you could do that, for me.
And that was with microcurrent point stimulation therapy. Yes, exactly. Yes. And speaking of that type of therapy, that's great for after a C-section, even for prevention. And sometimes women have pain after a C-section, and that scar needs to be treated. Neuropathies, massage therapists have the opportunity to work with neuropathies. Neurological conditions like Parkinson's, not just with the dolphin, but also with massage. And at every age and stage of life. But the piece that I love about all of that is what we're talking about in our future and what this whole movement is about. And that is, healthy tomorrow begins with prevention today. Right. And so you talked about at the beginning of our conversation, one of your patients, referring her daughter. What if we shifted our mindset that we wait literally until something's broken, that we wait until we have that sciatica that's so bad that we fight and can't get out of bed, and then we call the massage therapist, or that we wait that we're so anxious that we're paralyzed and can't function properly. What if we started to shift our mindset in investing in prevention and having massage therapy? You're the most important member of your healthcare team, but what if your massage therapist is one of those integrative members of your team and proactively you come? I'm going to share a story that blew me away during the pandemic. And it was right in the height of it in 2021. And I was treating a woman who's been coming to me faithfully for years. So and you know this stuff, we get to know someone's body. We have the opportunity to palpate and see and listen. And therefore, because she is invested in her prevention, I know her tissues really, really well. And therefore, if I'm doing my job, I notice subtle changes in her tissues. And so during the pandemic, she came for her treatment. And of course, like all of us, was very stressed. And I was doing work on her head, neck, and shoulders at the end of the treatment. And as I was coming down on the anterior aspect of her neck and her anterior triangle here, And just at the edge of her axilla, her armpit, I felt something very, very small, but it stood out to me. Why? Because that wasn't there the last time I treated her. How do I know that? Because I've treated this woman for years, and her tissues I know really well because I touch them from head to toe on a regular basis. And so I didn't want to alarm her, but as a regulated health professional, it is my job to make sure that I do whatever I can to refer out when something's out of my scope, and empower her to advocate for herself, especially during a pandemic when access to care isn't the best. And I asked, have you felt this? She said, felt what? And when I felt it, she goes, oh, no, I hadn't. I said, did you have your mammogram this year? No, with the pandemic, how human of us, we've all missed that preventative testing. And I said, I don't want to alarm you, but, maybe you want to talk to your doctor and get your mammogram, make sure you get your mammogram. They might not be calling you because of the pandemic, but it's your right to call and get in to see them. Well, I got to tell you, Stephanie, 2 weeks later, when I had an oncologist call my office to say that they wanted to commend me, first of all, wanted to understand how on earth did I find that it was small? Because unfortunately, my gut instincts, when you've palpated thousands of people and understand the feelings and changes in tissue, I can't diagnose, but I can certainly see changes and assess and do my job with a proper referral. He said to me that it was an aggressive form of cancer, but it's small. She was having a mastectomy, and that he wanted to commend me because it could be the difference in her outcomes in terms of prognosis in a significant way.
Wow.
And you know what my answer to him was? I said, I'm really not surprised because my gut was that there was something wrong there. I said, but I did my job.
Right.
And I said, and this is a win for preventative health because that patient chose to invest in her health. And by the way, she doesn't even have extended health coverage, but she sees the value in through the ages and stages of her life, because she'd been seeing me for years, that massage therapy is given, whether it was during her divorce that she had and emotionally she needed the support because she was feeling the stress in her body, whether it was after her babies, whether it was treating her baby for colic, whether it was now in this place. I'd earned her trust by getting outcomes for many years, that she listened, took the ownership to be accountable for her health, and went, and it literally could change the course of her life. That's what we're proud to be massage therapists about. And I know there's thousands of stories like that from the 14,000 massage therapists in our province. And I know you've got stories like that too, that prevention is key. So let's talk about, the future of massage therapy. What is your hope for the future of massage therapy in terms of how we work into this model and our goal of prevention?
I think a lot of it just has to do with education. I think that communicating and having those conversations and not making assumptions that people completely understand what we have the ability to help them with. I find that, for example, I have hosted now 4 incredibly successful bone scan clinics here in my rural community. It's been incredibly well received. But having the conversations with my clients about the importance of the function of your muscles and having them strong, and understanding that pressure is what creates those strong bones. And people don't truly understand how important, exercise and weights. It doesn't have to be, 20
heavy weights. Yeah.
Heavy weights. It's just, so a lot of it for me is just, I'm realizing that so many people are interested when you just start those conversations. A lot of them want to hear it because I feel like because we have the time, we have the ability to kind of make what we're talking about relatable and current to what their own experiences are. And I'm a huge person over analogies to be able to explain things to people. And I just feel like that's what I've created within the community, is the referrals that we have has allowed all the practitioners under the roof to have clients that are coming in that want to take a proactive, preventative approach to their health to make informed choices and decisions.
Yes, so they can be the CEO of their health. And the bone
Right.
scan you're referring to is the REMS bone scan, which is a new Health Canada approved class 2 medical device, different from the current OHIP covered DEXA, which although we know peak bone mass happens at 30, you don't qualify for a DEXA till you're 65 unless you're high risk. But the problem is we don't often know. Bone health is often silent. And how many times have we had our patients say to us, you know, they've had a fracture and then they're sent for the DEXA and they find out they've got osteoporosis. But this new bone scan is different because it's been in Europe as standard of care, and it doesn't look at just the amount of bone, but the quality of bone. And here's the exciting part as massage therapists. The research is saying that the quality of bone is a better predictor of whether you're fractured due to osteoporosis instead of just how much bone, because we know we lose bone as we age. And our lifestyle choices and what we do, what we eat, if we exercise, are we taking care of our muscles? What is our nutrition like? All of the, and what's our stress like? Massage therapy helps with that as well. Can truly impact quality of bone, and we can prevent fractures that we know can be catastrophic in terms of quality of life, longevity of life, and strain on the healthcare system. And that's why I'm so proud and honored that we've been able to help you bring the OsteoSound REMS bone scan to a rural community, 21 and older, and now doing falls and fracture prevention in seniors' homes in your rural community where they don't always have access to care. So you're right, Steph. The future is bright in changing our focus and empowering people to be accountable for their health and make informed decisions. People want to be the CEO of their health, but I think where the disconnect is that they don't know where to turn. I'm sure you'll relate, right?
Where do I start? Or you had a wonderful, I was talking about analogies. Just tell everyone your wonderful analogy about the brick wall and
the Eiffel Tower?
Yes.
Yeah, so when it comes to bones and bone mineral density, currently, if you have a minus 2.5 or greater standard deviation bone mineral density on a DEXA, which is the OHIP covered bone scan, you're told that you have osteoporosis. And bone density is the quantity of bone, how much bone. So if you look at a brick wall, it's strong, it's mortared, and you're not worried about it crumbling. But if you also look at the Eiffel Tower and you step back, it's not like it doesn't have the same quantity of structure. You step back, there's holes in between. But are you worried about the Eiffel Tower falling? Well, no. And why is that? Because the bone structure that is there is strong. And that's the same in our body. And that bone quality or bone strength or fragility risk fracture score that in fact this new device gives us, so we get a more comprehensive picture of our bone health. It's a better predictor of whether we're fractured due to osteoporosis, so we can make more informed decisions in collaboration with our doctor that maybe we don't need to take a certain drug that can have horrible side effects that costs a lot of money, that actually we can get into action with our integrative health team, with our massage therapist, with our physiotherapist, with our dietitian, with our fascial stretch therapist, with our counselor to improve our bone quality. And so I think that it's really important that we continue to have these conversations and empower and stock the toolbox of everyday people, which is why Preventative Health Awareness Month and movement was created. So it was appropriate to end this incredible campaign, the second annual, with the Power of Touch Day, because when we think about the power of touch, and it was never so clear than during the pandemic, connection, human connection and touch is vital for survival. Babies in a NICU that don't have touch don't survive. Failure to thrive. If I had $1 for every time someone in my clinic said, Margaret, I don't feel well, but my doctor says I'm within normal range. As a massage therapist, we get to work in this opportunity gap where people are healthy and here they're sick. And until somebody hits that range, that blood test that's at a certain level, that T-score that's at a certain level, you're told that you're fine. But we know our bodies. And if you listen, as you often encourage your people during your treatments to do, to listen to your body and then get into action and get your team around you so that you can prevent potentially catastrophic diseases from happening or slow down the progression of ones or even improve your quality of life once you have a diagnosis. That's what massage therapy is about. And during the pandemic, what I was told 3 months, and I'm sure you did this, heard this too, Steph, we were unable to practice for 3 months. The world was shut down. And when we really lobbied to get back to work, because we knew we needed to be there, people were missing us, not only for their pain, but there was a sense of relief. The social psycho determinants of health and what we do, loneliness can lead to poor health outcomes. Touch heals, and touch isn't just physical touch, it's human touch. It's touching our communities and therefore touching the legacy of healthcare. And that's why I think it's appropriate that massage therapy is at the center of this integrative health movement, where so many healthcare professionals from both allopathic and complementary medicine have put their hand up and have generously donated their expertise and their time to this grassroots movement that I know is going to grow over the years. And I can't think of a better way to finalize Preventative Health Awareness Month and the Power of Touch Day than with you, Stephanie. It's been such a pleasure watching you grow and step in and lead. There are many leaders in our profession, and I want more of those leaders stepping up and elevating our profession, because we have work to do. And it's, the future is bright, not just for massage therapy, but for Preventative Health Awareness Month and movement. So thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for having me.
And tell everybody where they can get a hold of you if they want to reach out or if they have any questions.
Yeah, so exetermassagetherapy.ca is my website. That's usually just the best way to kind of contact us. And our phone number is 519-235-1001. But going on our website, it will lead you right to our contact us page, and you can send us an email that way if you have any questions.
Fantastic. And the one thing that's just in my mind that I forgot that we're doing some collaboration on is, if you're a corporation and would like corporate wellness programs, there's another thing that massage therapists do, and perhaps you don't realize, massage and the importance it has in mental and physical well-being, even in the workplace, is powerful. So we're doing corporate wellness programs together. And so there's an opportunity to look into that as well. So happy Power of Touch Day, everybody. I'm going to leave you with this. A healthy tomorrow begins with prevention today. It is time to get into the driver's seat of your health. You are the most important member of your healthcare team, and we are here to support you in finding that team and helping you thrive through every age and stage of life. On behalf of all the registered massage therapists, on behalf of all the FAMbassadors, thank you for your support. Please share these videos. Please make some comments and let your MPPs know how important it is that we need to invest in prevention. Because with that, together, we can create the legacy change that this movement is all about. Stay well, everybody, and we'll see you all soon.